For one dimensional, you have this four different types of elements. The first one we call it as a bar element. So a bar element will have only one displacement, okay, at this point, at nodal points. Okay, so the force is always axial, right? So the bar element is either you can consider horizontal or you can consider vertical. In that case, we can call that as a bar element. But if I consider as an inclined one, right, what we'll get, we will get cos theta, sin theta. We have to resolve this into x and y. So then we call as a different element. That element we call as a truss element. Okay. Similarly, when a force is acting transverse direction, then we call that as a beam element. Okay. So either it may be horizontal or it may be vertical. So these are beam elements. Okay. But if it is an incline, we call it as a frame element. Okay. So at a particular angle theta. Right. So for our unit 1, so we have only this 4. So sorry, only this 3. So bar element, truss element, and beam element. Now what we are going to do is we are going to derive what is the trial function for these elements, separate elements. Okay, so that's why I'm taking here. So I'm going to consider one element. So let me consider this is element 1. So which is having two nodal points, 1 and 2. So this two nodal point will have displacement u1 and u2, right? So when I apply a force F1, you may get a displacement of u1. So I am not fixing anything, right? It is free. So for this particular force, you have displacement u1. Similarly, for this particular force F2, your displacement u2. These are the different types of forces. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a trial function. Let me consider u of x is equal to a0 plus a1x. My main aim is to identify what is a0 and a1. Okay, for that I'm going to apply the boundary condition, then I am going to do that, what are the procedures we proceed. So first, I'm going to write this as an equation matrix, which is I'm writing like this, right? So 1 into a0 is a0, so x into a1, which is a1x. So this equation is written in terms of a matrix form, right? Make sure whenever you have a column matrix, you will be using flower bracket. Other matrix should be a square bracket. Okay, so that is a basic rule. Now I'm going to apply a boundary condition. So what is my boundary condition? When x is equal to 0, here when x is equal to 0, your u is u1. When x is equal to L, your u is u2. Right? This is my boundary condition. Right? So let me apply this. For the first case, when I apply here, so when x is equal to 0, I'll get a0. Okay, so when I apply, when x is equal to L, in this, what will get? I will get a1, a0 plus a1. Either I can apply here and I will convert it as a, what you can say, your matrix form, or I can directly use matrix form. What I could do, I can use this equation. So u of x is equal to, when x is equal to 0, what I'll get? So 1, 0, right? So this is u1. U of x is u1. So u1 is equal to 1, 0, a0, a1. This is my first equation. When x is equal to L, so u2 will be equal to 1, L, a0, a1. Right? So this I am writing as a matrix form. So u1, u2, 1, 0, 1, L, a0, a1 is common. Right? So this term I'm writing in a matrix form. You are getting something like this. Right? So now my aim is to identify this particular values. So a0 and a1. What I will do, I have to cross multiply this. Okay. So I'm going to take inverse. So when I take inverse, you know that adjoint of A divided by determinant. So this is your matrix equation, right? So which you will get something like this. So adjoint of A divided by modulus of A is what your inverse. So you will get something like this. So L minus 0, so minus 1, 1, u1, u2, and this is your term. So now I'm going to substitute it. So this is my A0 A1, right? This is my A0 A1. Substitute this A0 A1 in this equation 1. When I do that, what I'll get? I'll get u of x is equal to 1x 1 by L, L0 minus 1, 1, U1, U2. Right? Any doubt up to this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, when I substitute it inside, so when I'm multiplying this, all these things inside, you are getting like this. So these two terms I'm multiplying, right? So L minus X 0, 1. Sorry, 0 X, right? So that is the term. So multiplying these two. These two I multiply. So this is 1 cross 2. This is 2 cross 2. So what you'll get? You will get 1 cross 2 matrix. Okay, so we are getting something like this. So then multiplying it, I am getting like this. So L1, L minus X divided by L, X by L. Okay, so this is my U of X. Right, this is my U of X. So I write this as N1. Right, so L minus X by L. I consider this as N1. And this one I will consider as N2. So which means I can write it like this. So your U of X is nothing but N1, N2, U1, U2. Right? Where N1 and N2 we call it as a shape function. Okay. This N1 and N2 we call it as a shape function. So shortly we call it as N matrix. Okay. So N matrix into U. So U of X is equal to N matrix into U. Right? So which I am also writing as U of X is equal to N1 U1 plus N2 U2. Right? So what is this? So this N1 and N2 is what we call as an interpolation function or a shape function. So both are same. So whenever I call it in 1D we call it as an interpolation function. Right? Interpolation function. Right? So whenever I go for 2D and 3D, we call this as a shape function. Because it defines the shape of a boundary, a geometry shape. Okay, 1D there is no, so whatever you apply, it will be a straight line. Okay, so we call it as an interpolation function. Right? But anyway, both the names are same. Shape function and interpolation function are same. Okay, so let me consider here. This is my element, right? This element, when I substitute x is equal to 0 at nodal point 1, what will happen? When I substitute x is equal to 0, you will get N1 as 1, N2 as 0. Okay, so you are getting something like this, 1 value and 0 value. Okay, so when I substitute x is equal to L, you'll get N2 as 1 and N1 as 0. Substitute it, you can able to see. So L, so L minus L 0, this one is 1 by L. So since I'm substituting L as L, so L by L is 1, right? So you will get another function like this. So this value, this is the main, what I can say, property of your shape function. It is value 1 for the particular node in their respective node and 0 for the other nodes. Okay, in between, if I want a value, right? For example, I want at the middle, right? So this is my element. I want what is the value. I know what is my displacement here. I know displacement here is around 0.5. Here the displacement is 0.3. In between these two elements, I want what is the displacement. You can able to see that your N1 here is acting as 0.5 and N2 is also acting as 0.5. Right? So if I want displacement U at 0.5, it is nothing but N1 is 0.5 into displacement at nodal point 1 is 0.5. This is 0.5. Plus N2 is 0.5 into displacement at nodal point 2 is 0.3. When I add this, I will get what is the value. Right? So this is the displacement at the center point, middle point in between these two. Similarly, if I take some other point, so this will be 0.3 and this will be 0.7, whatever it is. Right? So another property is if I add n1 plus n2, you should always get 1. Right? If I add n1 plus n2, it should always be getting 1. Right? So this helps a lot to identify what is the values in between. Okay, that is the main thing. Property. The property of the sequence is that the value is equal to unity at the node to which it belongs and 0 value on the other nodes. So for 1, n1 is the base, so n1 is 1, whereas n2 is 0. For 2, n2 is the base, n2 is 1, n1 is 0. So something like that. Okay. So we also call this as a Lagrange interpolation function. Okay. Right. So now we'll deal with a stiffness matrix. This is a common stiffness matrix. So for any type of problem, right? So I am going to relate what is the relation with respect to all these things, and let us identify with respect to that. State energy we already discussed, so I'm going to leave these things. Directly I will go for your main function. So let me consider you have F and U, right? So this is my input. When I apply this input, I will get this as an output. Okay. So similarly, I am going to relate stress and strain. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to relate this to. So U is some value, displacement. If I differentiate that U, what I'll get? I'll get strain. So d by dx. Okay, so this is one part. Similarly, relating stress and strain, right? Relating stress and strain, we know that stress and strain can be related as Young's modulus. Okay, this is another part. This one we call it as your matrices. So we call this as a B matrix. What is this B matrix? It is strain displacement. So relation between strain and displacement. That matrix we call it as a B matrix. Okay. So and you have one more here, E. So this one we call it as a D matrix. D is stress strain relation matrix. Stress strain relation matrix. So relating stress and strain. Okay. So similarly, F1 stress, you can relate it as minus B transpose. Right? So this is based on another equation. So by using the equation, we got this. Okay. So this negative indicates opposite direction. Okay, that's why we put minus. So minus B transpose in B transpose matrix. Right? That is the relation between force and stress. Okay. So if I want what is the stress value, right? So stress value can be identified by a matrix called as D matrix, B matrix, and U matrix. Right? So this is the formula to identify a stress matrix. Stress is D matrix into B matrix into U. So DBU. Right? This is a common formula. Okay. Similarly, if I want strain, strain is B into U. Strain is B into U. Right? There is another matrix. So whatever B matrix, I multiply with your U displacement, I will get what is the strain. Next, if I want your stiffness, stiffness is B transpose D into B into U. So it will be stiffness matrix. So a force matrix, force matrix is B transpose D into B into U. This is my force matrix. Maybe it will be a little bit confusing. Don't worry. You just consider this. So this is one way of deriving it. There are different ways of deriving this element matrix, right? So I'm making as a common term. So you'll be better understanding when you go for 2-dimension, right? Because here everything is E and U, only one term. So you don't know what is the D, B matrix and all, right? You can really understand that only when you go for unit 2, when you deal with 2-dimensional problems. Okay, just remember that's it. Okay, so we will discuss deeper during that time. Okay, right. So now I got my F matrix. So you know that F is K into U. So because my aim is to identify my stiffness matrix. Okay, so stiffness matrix is the main part for any finite element analysis. So if I want stiffness matrix, it is F is equal to K into U. I can identify what is my stiffness matrix. So now I can relate it. So F is this. So in that case, this term is my stiffness matrix. Okay, that is my stiffness matrix. When I make it as an overall term, I will going to integrate it. Right, I am going to integrate it in terms of volume. You will get something like this. Okay, right. So you consider this as a formula. This as a formula, right? This is the formula for stiffness matrix. Directly we'll go for deriving what is the stiffness matrix for a bar element. So you know that your U is N1 U1 plus N2 U2. This is my child function. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to analyze by what is my you know what is N1. N1 is L minus X by L. N2 is X by L. Okay. So I'm going to identify B matrix. What is B matrix? So I will discuss here. B is d by dx of U. B is nothing but d by dx of U. So I'm going to do that. So dn by dn1 by dx, similar dn2 by dx. So these are the two terms, right? I am going to differentiate this. When I do that, what will get? dn1 by dx. What will get? I'll get minus 1 by L. This is 1 by L. So you'll get minus 1 by L and 1 by L. This is my B matrix. I'll get B transpose. B transpose is just opposite. So your row will become a column. So minus 1 by L, 1 by L. This is my overall. So now what we can do, I'm going to apply what is my D matrix. D matrix is E, nothing. So it is Young's modulus E, right? Search it. For bar element, D matrix is E. So now let me substitute in my K. So integral B transpose dB into dV. So this dV is volume. Volume is area, cross-section area into length, right? So that I will substitute. So A into dx, right? Integral 0 to L, A into dx. B transpose is minus L, minus 1 by L and 1 by L, E, 1 minus 1 by L, 1 by L. So I'm going to multiply this, right? When I multiply this matrix, I'll get like this. 1 by L square minus 1 by L square minus 1 by L square, 1 by L square. Integral 0 to L dx. Integrating this x, applying the limit L. So we'll get a term AE by L 1 minus 1 minus 1 1. This is the formula. For a bar element, this is my stiffness matrix formula. It's a common. So you have to remember this. Okay, any doubt in this? So the same derivation I will also show in weak form. So the Galerkin method la இதே AE by L 1 minus 1 minus 1 வரும். Right? The Galerkin method la இதே மாதிரி. I don't want to waste time. I'll put it in a video so you can check that. Okay. Okay. So there are some properties for stiffness matrix. What are the property? So let me consider this is my stiffness matrix. First, your stiffness matrix is the square matrix, right? Your stiffness matrix is a square matrix. Second, it is a symmetric matrix. If it is a symmetric matrix, what I can say, Aij is equal to Aji. So in the term, same இருக்கும் அதே மாதிரி in the term, this term is same. Except your diagonal, all the other terms are same. Okay, it is always a symmetric matrix. Okay, and your diagonal is always a positive value. So always check your diagonal, it is always a positive value. If you get a negative value, it means that you have made any mistake, right, in a stiffness matrix. Make sure your diagonal is always a positive value, right? So, and if I take a determinant, mostly it will become 0. This is not sure for all the elements. For few elements, or I can say for most of the elements, right? Your determinant of the matrix will become 0, right? These are the properties. Okay, so it's a square matrix, it's a symmetric matrix, diagonal is always a positive value, and the determinant is 0, right? These are the matrix. Okay, let me consider a problem. Let me consider something like this. Okay, so this problem is to help you to understand what is the purpose of your interpolation function and how to identify stress strain for a particular problem, right? So you have a bar here. So they are given x1 is 375 mm, so x2 is 575 mm, and they mention what is your u1, u2. So u1 is 0.5 and u2 is 0.625, right? So what they are asking, they are given all the data. So cross section area is given, young smallest is given, all the data are given. They're asking what is the displacement at point P. When your x is 500, what is the displacement at this point? That is the first question, right? What you have to do to identify what is my n1 and n2, right? So n1 is 0.375. How do you get this 0.375? What is the formula
So
for n1?
L minus x by L.
Yeah, it is 1 minus x by L, right? L minus, yeah, 1 minus x by L, right? So this is my n1. That is what L minus x all divided by L. That is what I'm writing like this. 1 minus x by L, right? What is your x? So எனக்கு வந்து எந்த பாயிண்ட்ல வந்து வேணும்? இப்போ எனக்கு இந்த பாயிண்ட்ல தான் வந்து எனக்கு வந்து டிஸ்பிளேஸ்மெண்ட் வேணும் இல்லையா? ஸோ n1 n2 வந்து எப்படின்னா இப்படி வேரி ஆகும். ஸோ n1 வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா இப்படி இருக்கும், இப்படி வரும், ரைட்? n2 வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா இப்படி வரும். ஸோ திஸ் ஹவ் இட் வில் கம். இப்போ இந்த பாயிண்ட்ல எனக்கு n1 என்ன n2 என்னன்னு ஐடென்டிஃபை பண்ணும், ரைட்? அப்ப நான் என்ன x வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா 500, ரைட்டா? x இஸ் 500. ஓகே, ஸோ 500 மைனஸ் 375 எவ்வளோ? 500 minus 375. What you are getting? 125, right? Subtracting this two, you are getting 125. This is distance x. அப்ப n1 என்னது 1 minus x by L. 1 minus this 500 minus 375, which is 125. Divided by L. L is the total distance. Total is 575 minus 375, which is 200. Okay, so I will get 0.375. So n2 is x by L, which is 0.625. At this point, we are identifying what is your n2, n1 and n2. Any doubt in this? புரிஞ்சுதுங்களா?
Yes, sir.
So now you substitute u is equal to n1 u1 plus n2 u2. Substitute, you will get the value, right? Which is 0.5781. So you done displacement at this point, at your P point. Okay. Now strain. How to identify strain? Strain is, you know the formula. Now direct answer edita. So strain is u2 minus u1 divided by L. So change in length by original length. So change in length is u2. u2 is 0.625 minus u1 is 0.5. L. What is your L? 200. Right? So subtract it. So 0.625 minus 0.5 divided by 200. You are getting 6.25 into 10 power minus 4. So that is my strain. Next, to identify stress. Right? How to identify stress? Stress is Young's modulus into strain. Young's modulus value is it? You multiply it 2 into 10 power 5. So 62.5. So 6.25 10 power minus 4 into 2 into 10 power 5. You are reading 125. That is my stress. Next, stiffness matrix. Stiffness matrix, what is the formula? K. K is AE by L 1 minus 1 minus 1 1. A you know, which is 750. E you know, which is 2 into 10 power 5. What is L? L is 200. Substitute it, you will get 7.5 into 10 power 5, right? Into 1 minus 1 minus 1. That is my K. Okay, next, strain energy. Strain energy is off into stress into strain into dV is a volume. Volume I can write as cross section area into length. Right? This is my strain formula. Right? They're asking strain energy also. Strain energy is off of stress into strain into volume. So volume I can write as cross section area into length. So what I'll get? I'll get off stress is 125 into strain is 6.25 into 10 power minus 4. Area is 750 into length is 200. Right? You substitute all these things, you will get what is the strain. So strain energy is 5859.37 Newton mm. Can you check it out? So check it out. So 125 into 6.25 10 power minus 4 into 750 into 200 divided by 2. Yeah. So 5859.37. Any doubt on this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So